everyone, Miss Liberty here. I hope you're all doing well at home. Today we're going to be learning about solids, liquids and gases. So when we're talking about solids, liquids and gases, what we're talking about is the different forms we can find a substance. Now, a substance can be anything. It can be something like chocolate, it can be something like water, milk, anything along those lines is a substance. So when we're talking about solids, liquids and gases, we're talking about the three different forms we can find these things. So if we think about water, the solid would be ice, the liquid would be water, and then the gas would be something like steam. So when we're talking about the states of matter, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the three different ways that a substance can exist. So the three different states of a particular matter. So here the matter would be water, and the different states would be ice, water, and steam. We are now going to look at the different states of matter. So we're going to start by looking at a solid. So to characterize a solid, it would be something that is quite hard to the touch and something that doesn't change shape. So that could be something like ice, as we mentioned earlier. So ice is the solid form of water. When water gets very cold, it freezes and becomes ice. So for a material, for a substance to become a solid, it needs to get cold. So you can see this if you get water and you put it in the freezer, then it will freeze and become ice. This is also true for other things like chocolate. If chocolate is warm, it will be liquid. If you cool it down, then it will become solid, and that will be like the chocolate bar that you eat. So those are the things we need to keep in mind when we're looking for a solid. So a solid can be lots of things around your house. It could be something like a table. It could be something like a kettle. It could also be a chopping board, a stone. All of these things are solids because they're quite hard and they don't change shape. Now, the next state of matter we're going to look at is liquid. So a few things to bear in mind when we're talking about liquids is a liquid flows, which means if you pour it, it will move and it will adapt to whatever container you put it in. So if you put water in a glass, the water will take the shape of the glass. But a solid won't do this. Remember earlier we said if you have a stone, it won't change shape. So if you take the stone and you put it in the same glass, it won't change shape. It will still be the shape of a stone. But with the water, it will take the shape of the glass. The last state of matter we're going to look at is a gas. Now, we get a gas when a liquid becomes very, very hot. The liquid will transform into a gas and it will go into the air around us. Now, we can't see this. This gas is invisible. We can't see it. But we can see when it starts to turn back into a liquid. We can see it was in the air. So this is things like on a cold day, if you go outside and you breathe, you can see mist around your mouth, which is the water in the air that you're breathing coming out and turning back into a liquid. You can see it. When I was younger, we used to call this playing baby dragons, and you'd walk outside puffing clouds of mist. Another way of seeing this is if you boil a kettle, you can see that the water in the pan gets very hot, then the water will go into the air. And when the water in the air starts to cool down just a little bit, it will start to become liquid again. So there will be very, very small bits of liquid in the air. Now, when this happens, we see steam. So if you see steam on a pot or the kettle, that's what's happening. So you've got water that has gone into the air and is now turned back into a liquid and is starting to come back down from the air. We are going to look at how states of matter go from one form to another. First of all, we're going to look at freezing. So when you cool down water, which is a liquid, it will become ice, so a solid. So if you take water and you put it in the freezer, you come back a few hours later and you will have ice. So this is called freezing. So that is going from a liquid to a solid. You have frozen the liquid to become a solid. The next change of states of matter we're going to look at is called melting. So this is when you take something like ice, which is a solid, and you transform it back into water, which is a liquid. So if, for instance, you take ice cubes out of the freezer and you put them outside in the sunshine or in a warm room, they will melt and they will become water. So if you take something that's frozen, so a solid, and you heat it up, it will become a liquid. Now we're going to talk about evaporation. Now it sounds quite complicated, but really all this means is you've taken a liquid like water and you've heated it up to become a gas. Now remember when we said earlier that a gas is in the air, we can't see it. But remember the closest thing we can find is steam. So if we want to see something similar, it would be we take water, we heat it up, and it would become steam. Now, the last change in states of matter we need to talk about is called condensation. Now, this is what happens when you have a gas that cools down to become a liquid. So that is what we were talking about earlier when we were talking about steam, when we said that steam is very small pieces of water in the air that we can see. So what was happening is you had a gas that has cooled down to become a liquid. Condensation. Now everyone, here we just have an overview. So we can see all the different changing states of matter. We can see we have solid, we have a liquid, we have gas, and we can see if you go from a solid to a liquid, it's melting. If we're going from a liquid to a gas, we have evaporation. If we're going from a gas to liquid, we have condensation. And last but not least, if we go from a liquid to a solid, we are freezing. So very simple. This is just an overview so you can understand how different states of matter change and what the different names are for all of the different parts of this. Okay, now it's your turn. Now I've got a little bit of a challenge for you. I would like you to go around your house and find whatever you have. You can use any materials. It can be water, ice, chocolate, anything you can think of. And I would like you to turn a solid into a liquid. So we will be melting something. We will be turning a liquid into a solid. So we will be freezing something. And last but not least, we will be turning a liquid into a gas, which is evaporation. So this is a little challenge for you, and I look forward to seeing what you will come up with. Now everyone, this is the final part of the lesson. Once you have finished the previous activity, so that was the challenge to go and melt something, freeze something, and make sure something evaporates, you need to do this exercise. So you will be sent the worksheet, and as it says, you have to go around your house and find 3 solids, 3 liquids, and 3 gases. So I look forward to seeing what you come up with, and good luck everyone. Have a nice day. Bye.